Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. The Saint Andrews Tapestry Project aims to tell the history of our region through embroidery. Here to tell us all about it are Sara Brinkhurst and Bessie Bartlett. Thank you both for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having us. Yeah.
Let's start by talking about how did the idea for the Saint Andrews Tapestry Project come about?
Well, how it came about was very serendipitous. I went to see Anne Manuel's breath at Gisella's barn, and speaking with her, and she said, "Oh, you know, the place in Newfoundland did a tapestry." And I said, "Oh, did they?" And they said, "Yeah, they did it on the French community in western Newfoundland." And I said, "Oh, we can do that." So we talked about it for about a year, didn't we?
Yeah.
We just bounced it back and forth, and then we said, "Okay, gonna do it."
Okay.
So what we had no idea. None of us are embroiderers. We sew, but we're not embroiderers. Yeah. It's a different thing. And so we had to figure out how to source the material. The linen. Well, we thought we should have linen, just because it would be sturdy and it would hold the patterns well. So we first, here I am talking. First we had to source it, and we wanted to source everything if we could local and or Canada. So we looked at this, and we tried to find out where we could get it in Canada. The only place we could get the linen in Canada of the quality that we wanted was in Saskatchewan, I think it was. So we talked to that person, and then we found out that person gets it from England. So we contacted the people in England, and we got the fabric sent over.
Oh, wow.
So, and the wool is from Loopy Wool in Moncton area.
Was it Sussex?
No, it was
just beyond.
Just beyond Moncton.
Yeah.
Before Moncton. Salisbury.
That's
where the shop is. It's
yes.
right there by the Irving and Big Stop and all that sort of stuff.
I think it's about just over a year old now, or maybe two.
She had just opened, and so we asked her about sourcing wool to use that. So she sourced it for us and dyed all the wools for us. So we have
they're all hand dyed.
They're all hand dyed, and we have. So she know if we need any more, she knows what she made for us, and she can get some more. So we're not stuck as far as getting the wool. So this is
hold this one up like
this
that.
is one we did just for.
It's like a sample.
It's like a sample.
More an example, because when you start talking to people about tapestries, they have different visual idea of what you mean. Mm-hmm. So we were talking to various people who we thought might be interested, and we realized that it was really hard to get our meaning across accurately. So we pulled back a little bit and decided we need some examples of what we're talking about.
So tell us what the first image for the tapestry is of. What is the history in this?
Okay, it won't be the first part of the tapestry, but this is an example of what we wanted. So this is based on Samuel de Champlain's drawings that he did during the first settlement that they had on the island in 1604. He did these really lovely little line drawings to record it. And it was exactly what we were looking for, slightly primitive style, quite two-dimensional and fairly simple, and obviously directly from the source. So we felt that was a really nice style to kind of base what we're thinking on. So that's our example.
This is the prototype. So I understand that you are hoping that people from the community, different groups, different individuals who might have a part of our town's history to share will approach you to get a kit and to tell I suppose a chapter or a quilt of our town story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Okay, so we have kits. We have some kits made up, and if a group decides that they'd like to do one, that we'll give them they'll get a kit, and what it will be the piece of a panel with a image on it.
Okay.
So this is one. It's not finished yet, but it's the immigration from the Irish immigration.
Irish immigration. Yeah.
That came to, we'll have a date on it and some words. But this is marked out with one of those pens that heat sensitive. So I don't want them ironing this out because it'll take the image away. But once it's all embroidered, then you can iron over. So if you miss the line, you don't worry, because it'll be gone.
Yeah.
It'll be gone. So they'll get this, and then they'll get
plus a
hoop, and all the a bunch of different colored wools, and embroidery needles, and threaders.
Yeah. So everything you basically need.
I hope it's everything anyone needs, because obviously to get the wool through the needle, you need a little help there. And if you run out of any colors, they just have to contact us, and we will get them some more.
Yeah.
We have lots. So that's our hope. Now that one took about a week.
This took a week to do.
Took a week, but not a constant going. Just sort of doing it now and then, watching the ball games.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, and we're hoping that the groups will decide how they want to show their history.
Mm-hmm.
Like each church, they would have their church, and maybe a list of some of the clergy that were there, or something that makes it feel theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our hope.
So you could propose your own design for the.
We do,
Yes.
and we have some drawings. I didn't bring them with me, but that would show them. So if we have a workshop, we can show them what we think might be appropriate, but it's their thing.
Okay.
We definitely want input from people, because it's their story. So, we need them to tell us what their story is. There's some aspects that we've kind of got some drawings.
And
Elaine Wilson has very kindly helped us. She's a beautiful illustrator. She's like those ones for the Irish immigration are Elaine's.
She did quite a few for us.
So we have some illustrators who can work with us, or if some groups have their idea and they feel strongly about it, then they're quite welcome to work with us. So we don't want to dictate to people totally what they're going to do. No. I mean, it's like.
So let's say you were crafty and you didn't have an idea for an image. You could approach both of you and say, "I'll do the Irish immigrants."
Yeah.
Yes.
But if I was the Greenwich Church, for example, I could say, "Hey, I'd like to pitch something on the history."
And we have some
Absolutely.
drawings of that too. So, and we spoke with Chief Akachi.
Hugh Akachi,
And because obviously they were the first ones here.
Well, we're planning to go right back to maybe a few dinosaur tracks, and then
do it just for. It has to be fun.
It's our history,
But he's quite agreeable, because it's their history also. So we're hoping that he will.
There'll be probably several panels.
I suspect that there'll be several native panels at the start. Yeah. So we're hoping to do it chronologically along.
Yeah.
And then
we have a timeline that we started working on of kind of particular pinpoints in history. It's amazing how much rich history there really is here, and this is what we really thought. It's such a simple way then for visitors, to get an idea of how much has happened in this small town area. And how far back, it goes, like right from indigenous settlements through European people coming over. I mean, 1604 is pretty early for that kind of immigration thing. And ongoing from there, obviously, the houses coming up from Castine.
The black community
that was here, very strong and very well integrated as far as, doing the history and things, black community. And just to tell more of that history and celebrate how much strength there is here, and how people have really, worked together as communities over such a long time. So, and it's everything we want to reach out to, like the Boy Scouts. We'd love the Scouts to do a panel, and anybody who really feels that they want to contribute something that they know about the history of the town would be, great. The museums, the library,
the
archives. We've been talking with the archives a fair amount about, how to put together a timeline and some more, things of interest that we want to make sure we don't miss. But we just want to throw it out to the community, because this is the idea that each panel is made by an aspect of the community, and that it then all joins together to tell this story.
Yeah.
So our plan is to have on the back a separate little stitched piece with the names of the people who have
embroidered
been embroidered that panel, because then that becomes part of the history as well.
Oh, how cool!
So it's
each panel will
have its own
little.
Yeah.
Well, I find my life is constantly enriched by this community and learning about new aspects of its history all the time from the different groups that exist.
Yeah.
I am curious how big you think this tapestry will be and where it might go in the community, not just for tourists, but I'm sure, again, everyone in the community will want to appreciate it and take in the history visually like this. But I can imagine it might end up being quite large.
Well, we hope that it might be 100 feet long. So, and I mean, these are...
Each panel is designed to be about, the finished size was going to be about 18 inches by 24, roughly.
Yeah.
So when you start, we were amazed when we started looking at how many things on the line there were. It was like, okay, this is going to be a giant panel. So the home is... And good question. Part of the way we're doing it like this is that each panel can get joined. If another thing pops up, we can always take it apart and fit another panel in. And that way it makes it fairly flexible for display as well, because you could have like 5 20-foot lengths or one whole length that runs all the way around the inside of a room, or
even
it can move, and adapt accordingly. So
the courthouse, all around the inside of the courthouse. Who knows?
Yeah.
But we're just trying. We don't know yet where it would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Now, is this a project that you think will be over a few years? What's the timeline?
I think it'll be 2 years.
I think we're thinking around.
We're thinking around 2 years.
Could be
By the time.
Yeah.
It took us a year to go through all the technical things because we know nothing about these things at all. So but we think about 2 years.
Yeah.
They don't take, as I said, this only took me a week. That's just one person doing it. You could one person could take it for a day and do what they can and then move it along. So everyone gets a chance to be part of the history.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're both familiar faces around town. Sara, you're also very familiar when we think of Sunbury Shores, and Sunbury Shores is involved with this project as well. So how could people, if they're curious about being involved, approach Sunbury Shores?
I think the easiest way to do, we're kind of the umbrella, if you like, for the project. A lot of the funding, we got some funding from the town, which was lovely.
They actually paid for all the
materials.
Threads,
yes, that's basically that grant covered that.
The town has been lovely.
Yeah,
I think.
And then the rest of the funding so far has come from the Paradox Foundation, which is terrific. So we've agreed to be the administration for it. So if people are interested, the easiest way is to contact through Sunbury Shores, and I can give you that information. It can be through me directly, but I'll give you the email and whatnot, so you can put that on the on the bottom thing. And we're planning to have a few sort of introductory workshop sessions. So once we've got a group of maybe 6 to 10 groups of interest. If they want to send someone along or 2 or 3 people along, we'll have a sort of group session to sit down and discuss how it all works. And if people need a little bit of help learning how to do some basic stitches, we'll do that. So that will be the plan, to have those sort of reasonably regularly through the year. As soon as we get another group large enough together, then, you know, to want to do it, then we'll schedule a time and get them started.
But it doesn't have to be a group. It can be an individual.
No, it could be an individual, yeah.
To just do it.
We run at Sunbury Shores every second Saturday in the month. We have open studios, which is basically designed to be kind of community art time. So for $14 you can just come from between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock anytime within that. You can do the whole time or just the morning or just the afternoon bit or whatever. And there's usually other artists in there working on their projects. They bring their own projects in, and it's, you know, it's a little social.
So this is any Saturday anyway?
Every second Saturday.
Every second Saturday.
Anyway, that just runs on through the year. Yeah.
And there's usually,
well, now you do.
There's usually at least 4 or 5 people up there doing their little thing. And
and people.
It's kind of fun. We come doing this and we visit with them. And,
and some people are knitting, and some people are painting, and some people are doing ceramics, and you know, there's just different things. But the idea is just, a lot of people don't have much studio space at home, or maybe they do, but they just never get around to doing something. So the fact that you can kind of say, no, I'm going to go and do it this Saturday, you know. So we have one that's coming up this Saturday, so that's the next one.
Well, I always explain to people one of the most beautiful things about living in St. Andrews is not only is winter beautiful here, it's also a very creative time.
Yeah.
Not everything is open. Some stuff is open, so I like to give the town credit, but it really is this time where those of us who feel ourselves to be creative types really lean into those muscles and do projects. And this is such a great time for this to come about.
That's exactly what we felt. It's not for the summer visitors, although they are certainly welcome to do it too. It's for those of us that are here all winter and there's trying to find a project to do.
But on that note, Bessie, I was going to say, we know from our viewers of the station that there are a lot of people who just love St. Andrews. So they follow everything that happens here. If someone was perhaps living somewhere else but wants to be a part of this project, they can get involved as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. We could send them a packet.
Yeah.
No problem.
What was it about this project? What made you want to tell the history? When you could do any expression of art, what was it about capturing the history of St. Andrews visually that appealed to you?
Well, I love history. I don't.
Yeah.
And after talking to Anne, and a friend sent me this book, the Bayeux Tapestry, which I was gobsmacked that nobody knew about it. Anyway, it just shows very simple.
I did, but then I'm English.
But very, I mean, it tells their history of 1066.
Yeah.
So I mean, and this was done in 1068. So I mean, and we don't think that we have to be any more creative than they were. Very simple. They filled in more than what I think we will, and I just felt, gee, you know, we can do that. There's nothing going on this winter or next winter. We can do these things, and I think the town is filled with a lot of creative people, and I think we all love this area.
Yeah. We do.
So to have the history, my husband is from here and grew up here, so I just embraced.
And we kind of felt that doing it, this is with wool, it's fairly simple. You really don't, you can just follow a line, you know, you don't have to be overly creative to do it. You can pick it out if you make a mistake. So it's a very approachable medium, I think. You know, I mean, the idea of maybe putting paint on something, people would like, oh, I might not be very good at that. But this is designed to be really very accessible for anybody, no matter what their skill or experience level, because it was really about getting as many community members involved as possible who might not normally get involved with a creative project. So,
are you surprised already by the interest level? I look at projects that have been done here. When I believe you're both involved in the poppies on Remembrance Day. That
exactly.
was a Brenda Waywood
yes,
spearheaded event.
She's with us, so that's half of why we thought, okay, this is possible, because with the poppies, the response has been fantastic. People are just so giving. So we thought, okay, they can give that, they can do this. So it's I think it's a no-brainer, personally. But
what does it mean to you to involve so many voices, so many also artistic styles in the telling of our own history? There is something really empowering about that, of bringing the whole community in to tell their own story.
I think there is. What we are hoping, once this is done, is that we can have a little, maybe a booklet with a little blurb on each panel. Whether that'll happen, but I'm hoping that
there's potential.
There's a lot of potential that can be there.
So we're hoping to get the groups that have more of a historical presence, like for instance the churches, because obviously they've got more of an actual record of a physical building and a history of people involved. If we can have some of that information, and then perhaps those little scan things. That we could then have as a background. So, if people see a panel that they're interested in, they can just scan the little code and then get the actual full history, or, more of the history about it, so that it, becomes an educational thing as well as just a visual.
Oh, cool.
So
which would be great for the schools too.
Yeah, so that's our kind of ultimate.
That's our ultimate.
Kind of,
that's our.
Because we have to, that involves technology as well. So we've got to. But there's potential for doing more with it like that. So.
What do you think? I know, especially Sarah, having an institute like Sunbury Shores in our community this is going on 61 years this year.
We were 61 years. Yes,
61st year. This going into the 61st year.
Yes.
What is it about bringing the community in to do a project together? I'm sure there's something overwhelming about it too. It's a lot to orchestrate, but why is that so important to bring the community together for creative projects?
Well, I think it really does help build resilience and empathy, the sort of things that make communities strong and healthy. It's hard to find, interests that really that everybody can kind of get behind. So, and you have to offer different things. I mean, sports are one area that obviously, teams and all the team building and the supporters, I mean, that's an easy one to see. But for those people who aren't particularly sports related, it's harder to find something. So I think, our role is very much providing an outlet for a quieter, maybe more introspective kind of approach. Doesn't mean we wouldn't. I mean, we'd love to have obviously the curling and the hockey clubs and things like that. We're hoping they will be part of this, because that's that's all the history too. But I think that's something that we've really noticed, having been there for 60 years, is that sense of community and continuity. That we know people have gone to Sunbury Shores and done activities there as kids, and then they grow up and their kids go, and now we're getting grandchildren coming, right? So, which is amazing, and a few times recently, people have been in the building and they come in on Saturdays to do this, and they just say, I always feel so inspired when I come in here. I feel it makes me feel creative, and I feel comfortable and things. And I've been saying to them, well, we've had 60 years of people coming in this space being creative, and it has an effect, I mean, talk about atmosphere. It's like, it is. It's a very positive vibe. So anything that builds on that, I think just is really powerful and a great resource for, any community.
Final moment of the show, Bessie, I'll leave it with you. Why should people get involved with this project?
Why should they get involved? Well, because I think it's a worthwhile project. I think it will be good for their souls to do this. I think it'll give them joy. It'll certainly give us joy.
It will, yeah.
Well, thank you both for joining me today, and I look forward to following the progress of the St. Andrews Tapestry Project as it goes along.
Oh, thank you, Vicki, very
Vicki.
much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, team.
Yeah.
My guests today have been Sara Brinkhurst and Bessie Bartlett of the St. Andrews Tapestry Project. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.